Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for the encouraging response that I've received for my first video. So in this video, we'll be discussing about the concept of NPS, that is National Pension System, and the related taxation aspects of the same. So let's start. So in this video, we'll be learning about what is NPS, what are the different features that NPS offers, what are the different withdrawal plans available, what is the method with which you calculate your pension. I'll be showing you a pension calculator where you can calculate the amount of annuity and your monthly pension as well. And lastly, there are certain taxation aspects that we need to look into at the time of contribution and at the time of withdrawal. Let us start with the introduction. So national pension system is a mechanism where the individual beneficiary will contribute a sum of money towards the pension fund until he reaches 60 years of age, and after he reaches 60 years of age, the entire contribution made by the person will be converted into annuity, and such annuity is paid in the form of pension till the death of that person. So basically what happens is, let's say I contribute towards NPS trust till I reach 60 years of age. When I reach 60 years of age, I will have a fixed monthly income by way of pension, but that pension is provided by my own money, which I have contributed until I have reached 60 years of age. So this NPS concept was first introduced in the year 2004, but when it was introduced in 2004, it was available only for central government employees. But with effect from 2009, all citizens of India can enroll to this national pension system and take the benefit out of it. So what you need to do is either monthly or annually keep contributing how much ever you can till you reach the age of 60. And at the age of 60, your contribution along with the profit from the investment that the pension fund makes will be converted into annuity, and that annuity will be paid out in the form of a fixed monthly income called pension. We'll be discussing on how this will be converted and how much it will be converted in the coming sections. So let us have a look at the features of the scheme. First of all, who can open an NPS account? Any citizen of India within the age frame of 18 to 65 years can open an NPS, irrespective of whether you belong to a private sector, public sector, you're self-employed, you're having your own business or profession, doesn't matter. As long as you're a citizen of India, you can open an NPS account. How much is the minimum and the maximum contribution that you can make? The minimum contribution is fixed at 500 rupees per month. You need not contribute towards your NPS account every month. You can even contribute rupees 6,000 rupees, which is equivalent to 500 rupees per month once in a year, or even you can make a monthly contribution as a disciplined investment. What is the maximum limit of contribution? There is no maximum limit. You can contribute how much ever you want. So let us discuss why NPS over other investment options. First and the foremost advantage of NPS is the fixed income that we will be receiving after the age of 60. The second benefit that is arising out of NPS is the various income tax benefits that are available exclusively for NPS, but not for any other investment option. And the third and the most important thing is the return on investment. If you see any other social security schemes or any deposit scheme, you will have a fixed coupon rate. But in NPS, because of the allocation that you'll be doing between equity, government bonds, corporate bonds, and alternate investment vehicles, the market forces decide the return on investment, and that varies way higher than the rate of interest that is provided for any other PPF account or provident fund account or any other social security or deposit scheme that are available. So since the return on investment is driven by the market force, NPS offers way higher return than any other social security scheme. And since this being an investment for a long term, the market forces are definitely going to provide you with much higher rate of returns rather than providing a fixed coupon rate of interest. So let us understand the structure with which the NPS operates. There is a middleman called pension fund manager. This person is the person who handles your NPS account. You are the account holder. You are the person who is holding the NPS account, but the account is managed by the pension fund manager. This pension fund manager is regulated by an authority called Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority. Let us say you have opted for an equity debt mix of 50 is to 30 is to 20. 50% of your allocation should be invested in equity, 30% of your investment should be invested in corporate bonds, 20% of your investment should go in government securities. Normally, equity will have the highest risk, corporate bonds will have moderate risk, government securities will have either low or very negligible risk. So the pension fund manager will receive the money from you. He will allocate your money based on your choice, based on the equity and debt mix which you have opted at the time of opening your account. Let us say you contribute rupees 1 lakh rupees in a financial year. Your pension fund manager will allocate this 1 lakh in the same ratio as you desire. He will invest your fund in equity securities. The portfolio of each fund manager will differ. So you can check the equity portfolio of every fund manager in the NPS website itself. He will invest 30,000 in corporate bonds. He will invest 20,000 in government securities. So the 50-30-20 ratio which I have shown in this example is just for illustrative purpose. You can choose the ratio in a way you want, or if you do not want to choose any ratio, you can even leave the choice to the pension fund manager. There are automatic options as well. So you can make use of that. So the next point of discussion is the types of accounts. There are two types of accounts that the NPS will offer. One is the Tier 1 and the other one is the Tier 2. Tier 1 account is nothing but your main pension account. Tier 2 account is nothing but your savings or investment account. So this is more or less equal to a mutual fund investment wherein you can invest your money as a savings and you can withdraw at any point of time. Tier 1 account has restrictions on withdrawal. There are certain limits prescribed within which you have to withdraw the funds from Tier 1 account, but those withdrawal restrictions are not available in the Tier 2 account. That means you can withdraw any amount of money from your Tier 2 account without having any restriction. So we'll be discussing about the withdrawal restrictions in a while. Apart from the withdrawal restrictions, one more difference is the tax benefits that we talk about for any NPS contribution is available only for Tier 1 account and not for Tier 2 account. So let us discuss the restrictions for withdrawal. Under the NPS, there are two types of withdrawal. One is partial withdrawal and the other is retirement withdrawal. What is retirement withdrawal? Retirement withdrawal is the withdrawal that you make at the age of 60. Partial withdrawal is any withdrawal before you attain the age of 60. But can you withdraw the amount before attaining the age of 60? The answer is yes, but that comes with a certain conditions. So what are those conditions? Let us have a look at that. Partial withdrawal, first of all, it is possible only to the extent of 25% of your contribution. If you have, let's say, contributed an amount of 1 crore rupees over a period of time, so out of that 1 crore, you can withdraw only an amount of 25 lakhs. But even that 25 lakhs comes with a certain restriction. First condition is that you should be a member of NPS for at least 3 years. You cannot withdraw until you contribute for continuous period of 3 years. Second condition is that you can withdraw only 3 times during the entire tenure of your NPS account. So from the day you start your contribution till you reach the age of 60, you can withdraw only 3 times. There are certain reasons for which you can withdraw the amount. Those reasons are your children's marriage, your children's higher education, or if you are purchasing or constructing a residential property, or you are suffering from a critical illness and you need money for the treatment of such critical illness. So only if the reasons for withdrawal is one of these four reasons, you can withdraw up to 25% of the contribution. The next one is the withdrawal at the time of retirement. So the first and foremost thing that we need to understand is at the time of retirement, NPS offers you two options. One is exit from NPS. That means your contribution will be withdrawn by you to a certain extent and the balance amount will be handed over to a life insurance company for handling the annuity and the regular pension payments, etc. The second option is to continue in the NPS for the next 10 years. So if you choose to exit from NPS, you can withdraw up to 60% of the value of your investment. Remember here I mentioned that you can withdraw up to 25% of your contribution amount. Here the restriction is you can withdraw up to 60% of the value of your investment. And what happens to the balance 40%? Balance 40% will be handed over to a life insurance company in the form of annuity. The life insurance company will receive the amount as annuity from which the pension income is paid to you throughout your lifetime. So what is the major difference here? Let's say you have contributed an amount of 1 crore rupees and you want to partially withdraw the amount. So the maximum amount of your withdrawal is 25% of your contribution, which is 25 lakhs. But let us say over a period of time, till you reach the age of 60, you have contributed rupees 10 crores. This 10 crores over the period of time, as and when the money kept growing in the equity market and the corporate bond market, this 10 crore is worth 15 crores. So the withdrawal amount is not 60% of 10 crores, but it is 60% of 15 crores. Now let us have a look at the pension calculator. Pension calculator is an amazing tool provided by the National Pension System Trust website itself. I will leave the link of this website in the description box where you can go check out the pension calculator. Let us say, let us take my own example. I was born on February 5th, 1998, and assuming that I start contributing to NPS fund at the age of 23, let us say I contribute rupees 10,000 per month for the next 37 years, because by the time I reach the age of 60, I would have contributed to NPS for 37 years. The expected rate of return, let us keep it 10% itself. It is an ideal return of investment. Although, if you choose aggressive funds and if you choose the debt and equity ratios such that you choose more amount of equity, then the return of investment will be much higher than 10%. But for conservative purposes, let us keep it as 10%. So here there is an option called I would like to purchase annuity for. So this is the 40% of annuity which I was talking in my earlier slide. You can withdraw only up to 60% of your value of investment, and a minimum of 40% of your value of investment will be converted into annuity. So the minimum percentage of annuity is 40%. However, you can still choose to uh, withdraw 0% of your investment and convert the entire 100% of your value into equity. But that is not suggestible because of the income tax benefit that is available, which I'll be talking in a while. So let us say I will purchase annuity for 40% and expected rate of return on annuity is 6%. This is a very conservative percentage. So let us keep it as it is. So after contributing for 37 years, my total contribution, that is 10,000 per month, I calculate at the rate of 10,000 per month. Every year I'll be calculating at the rate of 1,20,000 per month. That means 1,20,000 of contribution to NPS for a period of 37 years will give me 44,40,000 rupees of investment. But at the age of 60, the value of this 44,40,000 investment will become 4 crore 69 lakh 86,616 rupees. This is nothing but because of the eighth wonder of the world, which is the power of compounding. Keeping all this in mind, after the age of 60, my monthly pension, which is expected monthly pension, will be 93,973. So coming to the last aspect for this video, let us talk about what are the various taxation benefits on contribution and what is the taxability on withdrawal of NPS. Firstly, let us discuss what are the different tax benefits that we can avail on contribution towards NPS. All the deductions that are available for contribution towards NPS is provided in section 80 CCD of the Income Tax Act. So there are various subsections in 80 CCD. Let us understand everything in detail. So what is the first part? This is the amount of deduction for the person who is contributing. That means this is the deduction against the contribution made by the account holder of NPS. So let us say I open an NPS account and contribute an amount of rupees 1 lakh during the financial year. I get a deduction of 1 lakh rupees under section 80 CCD. But however, 80 CCD deductions come with a certain restrictions or conditions. What are those restrictions? Or what is the maximum amount of deduction that I can claim under section 80 CCD? So the first point is, if you are an employee and as a part of your salary package, the employer and yourself both are contributing towards NPS, then the deduction is restricted to an amount of 10% of your basic plus DA. If you have a basic salary of, let's say, 10 lakh rupees and a DA of 5 lakh rupees, then total is 15 lakh rupees. You should not consider all other allowances like HRA, special allowance, etc. Consider only your basic plus DA. 10% of your basic and DA will be the maximum amount of deduction. So if you contribute 1 lakh rupees and if your basic plus DA is 1.5 lakh rupees, then up to 1,50,000 rupees you can claim. 1 lakh rupees is within 1,50,000 rupees, so you can take the entire amount of contribution as deduction. But what if I am self-employed? What if I am a businessman? What if I am not employed anywhere? In that case, if you are contributing towards NPS, it is restricted to 20% of your gross total income. Gross total income is nothing but the summation of all your incomes, be it capital gains or business income. You add up all your incomes, that will be your gross total income. So if you add up all your incomes and when it comes to 10 lakh rupees, let's say, so up to 20% of which is 2 lakh rupees. So maximum deduction that you can avail under 80 CCD 1 will be 2 lakh rupees. However, there is a monetary ceiling of the deduction that is available under 80 CCD, which is 1,50,000 rupees. So what we need to understand here is we need to satisfy both the conditions. So your deduction should be less than 10% of your basic and DA if you are employed and if your contribution is a part of NPS, or if you are not, then it should be maximum of 20% of your gross total income, plus it should not exceed 1,50,000 rupees. 80 CCD 1B is an additional benefit that is given for the contributors to NPS, where it says if your contribution is more than 1,50,000, Then up to an additional 50,000, you can claim a deduction under section 80 CCD 1B. So in our example, where our gross total income was 10 lakh rupees and 20% of which was 2 lakhs, we had contributed, let's say 2 lakh rupees itself, 1 lakh 50,000 rupees we can avail deduction under the first subsection, and the 50,000 extra 50,000 we can avail under this second subsection, which is subsection 1B. So the total amount of deduction, the maximum amount of deduction from your contribution will be 2 lakh rupees per financial year. So up to 2 lakh rupees, you can avail tax benefits. That is, your gross total income will be reduced by 2 lakh rupees under chapter 6A. What is 80 CCD subsection 2? If you are employed anywhere, this is applicable only for those who are employees. If you're employed in an employer's company and your employer company decides to contribute an amount, let's say a certain percentage of your salary towards your NPS account, then what are the restrictions there? Here it is divided into two parts. One is if you are a central government employee and if you are not a central government employee. If you are a central government employee, your deduction will be restricted to 14% of your salary. Salary again means your basic plus DA. Before it was 10%, but from last year the government has decided to increase the amount of contribution to 14% from 10%. So in line with the amendment made by the central government, Income Tax Act also has incorporated such amendment and has given relaxation up to 14% of your salary. If you are not a government employee, central government employee, the amount of deduction is restricted to 10% of your salary. However, you can avail deduction of how much ever you want. That means the only condition is the percentage based condition and no monetary ceiling. In the first subsection, we saw there was a ceiling of 1,50,000. The second subsection, we saw there was a ceiling of 50,000. But here, the only restriction that is available, that is given, is 14% and 10% respectively. But there is no monetary ceiling. If your salary is, let's say, 1 crore rupees, and if your employer decides to contribute 10% of your salary to your NPS account, you can definitely avail a deduction of 10 lakh rupees from your gross total income. So this is the tax benefit that is available for your contribution or your employer's contribution. And however, you should always remember that the tax benefits that are available towards contribution is available only for tier 1 account and not for tier 2 account. In this connection, please note that the deduction that we discussed of 1,50,000 in the first subsection is inclusive of the deduction under section 80C. So 80C plus your NPS contribution under section 80 CCD subsection 1 put together cannot exceed 1,50,000 rupees. But however, apart from this 1,50,000 rupees, you can claim an additional 50,000 rupees deduction under subsection 1B. Let us say you have contributed towards your provident fund to the extent of 1 lakh rupees and towards your NPS of 1 lakh rupees. You can take deduction of 1 lakh rupees under section 80C. You can avail 50,000 deduction under 80 CCD subsection 1 and additional 50,000 under subsection 1B. So all in all put together, 80C plus NPS cannot exceed 2 lakh rupees. Let us understand what are the tax implications on withdrawal from your NPS account. Again, let us divide the withdrawal into retirement and partial. As you are aware, partial withdrawal only is available to the extent of 25% of your contribution. So if you withdraw up to 25% of your contribution, such withdrawal is completely exempt, provided you comply with all those conditions, that you need to be in NPS scheme for 3 years, maximum 3 withdrawals, and the reasons for withdrawal, etc. You comply with all those conditions, and if your withdrawal is only up to 25% of your contribution, the entire withdrawal is exempt from tax. However, at the time of retirement, you can withdraw only up to 60% of your value. So same way, tax benefit is also given in line with the PFRDA rules. Tax up to 60% of your withdrawal, that means the 60% of the value of your investment is completely exempt. Again, here 60% of value and here 25% of your contribution. Earlier, this rule was a little bit different. You could have withdrawn up to 60% of your value of investment, but tax benefit was available only up to 40% of the value. But recently, the government has changed the rules and they have made entire withdrawal up to 60% of value exempt, and you don't have to pay any tax on that. If you want section reference, this is given in section 10 clause 12a, and this is provided in 10 clause 12 of the Income Tax Act. So these are the various tax benefits and taxation on withdrawal of NPS provisions. If you like this video, please like it, share it with everyone who needs to know about NPS, and do grab that subscribe button and stay tuned for more videos like this. I will be back for simplifying income tax for everyone. Thank you so much for watching.